Imagine stepping into a grand museum, surrounded by incredible wonders, but the language barriers are so high, you feel like an unwelcome guest. Is a museum truly accessible if you can't understand a single word or fully engage with what you're seeing? Welcome to Daily English Practice. Listen and speak.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into museums, but maybe not in the way you usually think about them. We're looking beyond the quiet halls and impressive collections to see them as these incredibly dynamic, evolving environments, places that are actively working to welcome everyone.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting shift that's happening.
So our mission today is twofold, really. First, we want to uncover how these institutions are embracing what's called linguistic accessibility, basically,
Yeah.
breaking down those language barriers.
Uh-huh.
And maybe even more importantly, we'll explore how you, as an English learner, can leverage a museum visit, how you can turn it into a way to significantly boost your language skills. It's kind of an overlooked goldmine, don't you think?
It really is. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that while we naturally focus on the art or the artifacts, the stuff in the museum,
Yeah, the main attractions.
exactly. But museums themselves are increasingly recognizing that language.
Well, language is fundamental. It's a core part of true inclusivity.
Yeah.
This isn't just some passing trend. It feels like a really profound shift in how they connect with people.
A deeper connection.
Yes. And we'll explore how this evolution benefits basically everyone, but especially English language learners. It's about creating spaces where, genuine understanding and real engagement can actually happen.
Okay, so let's unpack that term you use, linguistic accessibility. What does that actually mean in practice? Is it just sticking up a sign in another language? Because sometimes it feels like that's the bare minimum.
That's a really good point because it goes much, much deeper than that. When we talk about linguistic accessibility, we're often talking about something broader called language equity.
Language equity.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically about creating real, authentic opportunities for people whose first language isn't English. Opportunities to feel genuinely welcome, to join the museum community, not just as passive viewers, but as active participants.
So feeling like they belong there.
Precisely. And it also means opportunities for the museum staff themselves to use and learn multiple languages, so it builds a richer internal culture too. And maybe most importantly, it's based on the idea that every language is valuable. It's a unique window into a culture, right? So it's worth preserving, celebrating. So if you connect that to the bigger picture, this isn't just about translating words. It's about fostering real cultural understanding, building genuine connections that go beyond language itself.
And I imagine when museums get this right, the impact must be pretty significant, building trust maybe.
Oh, absolutely. When these techniques are used effectively, the results can be remarkable. You see greater trust, more commitment, just a stronger bond between the museum and all its visitors. So what are some of the specific things, the actual strategies these pioneering places are trying?
Yeah, let's get into the specifics. What are they doing?
Okay, well, they're trying several really interesting approaches. One big one is the move to become a truly bilingual museum.
Okay.
Now, in the US, this often means identifying a second main language, and frequently that's Spanish. And here's a surprising fact for you. The US actually has more Spanish speakers than Spain does.
Wow, really? More
Yeah.
than Spain?
Yeah. Globally, it's second only to Mexico. So when you think about that number, it just shows the huge community that museums are trying to connect with. It's not just about translating a few labels here and there. It means changing policies, training staff, maybe even designing exhibits differently. It's a serious commitment.
That statistic really puts it into perspective. So are there museums leading the way on this, making that big shift?
Definitely. The Getty Museum in Los Angeles is a great example. They've been working systematically to make, well, pretty much everything bilingual English and Spanish. Exhibitions, signs on site. They were aiming to have it all done by fall 2023.
That's ambitious.
It is. And what's more, they're offering Spanish classes for their staff so they can talk about the art more fluently, have more natural conversations with visitors.
That's fine.
Then you have places like the Guggenheim. They have sites internationally, right? New York, Bilbao, Venice.
Right.
So they focus a lot on internal communication and building relationships with diverse international visitors. They've even provided American Sign Language ASL training for their frontline staff.
ASL too, interesting.
And the Whitney Museum in New York also has a strong focus on Spanish because it's the second most spoken language in the city. Someone there, Chris Scorza, who's their chair of education, made a really important point. She said it's about respecting visitors' experiences in their own language, but without dumbing down the content.
Ah, okay. So maintaining the complexity of the ideas.
Exactly. Keep the sophisticated ideas, the rich vocabulary about the art or history, but maybe simplify the sentence structure or use more visuals. The idea stays rich, but the delivery is adapted so more people can connect with it. It's about respect, really.
That makes perfect sense. Meeting people where they are linguistically. What about inside the museum? Are they helping their own employees with language?
Yes, that's another key strategy. Creating foreign language programs for English-speaking employees. The Denver Zoo, for example, has a program called Practicamos Español.
We practice Spanish.
Right. It lets employees improve their Spanish through conversation. And it's not just about talking to visitors. They found it helps staff connect better with each other across different departments. It builds team spirit, a sense of belonging.
That's a great side benefit.
Definitely. And the Minneapolis Institute of Art MIA, they offer beginner Spanish classes too, as part of their whole diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion strategy, their DEAI work.
So it's integrated into their core values. Now, what about the flip side? Helping employees who might not be fully proficient in English. That seems really critical for equity.
Absolutely crucial, and maybe even more directly impactful for the staff's well-being sometimes. So the third strategy is creating English language programs for employees with limited English proficiency. And here's a pretty stark fact. Almost 1 in 10 working-age adults in the U.S., it's over 19 million people, are considered limited English proficient, or LEP.
1 in 10.
Yeah. And they often earn significantly less than their English-speaking colleagues, so there's a real economic barrier there too.
That's a huge disparity. So what are museums actually doing to help bridge that gap for their own staff?
Well, the Frick Collection in New York is one example. They've offered English classes for staff during work hours. And this is important. They provided paid participation.
Oh, that removes a major hurdle.
Exactly. No need to choose between earning money and learning English. They also translate important internal messages into Spanish and offer ASL interpretation for meetings. It's really a holistic approach investing in their staff's communication skills, which helps with economic mobility too.
It really shows a commitment to their workforce. Okay, so they're nurturing existing talent. But what about hiring? How do they bring in more linguistic diversity from the start?
Great question. That leads to the fourth strategy. Intentionally hiring bilingual staff. The Whitney, again, makes a conscious effort here. They try to hire Spanish-speaking colleagues across different departments, aiming for their staff numbers to mirror the city's population. So if, say, 17% of New Yorkers speak Spanish, they want about 17% of their employees to speak Spanish.
That's a clear goal.
It is, but it means changing how they hire. They need to look for candidates on different job boards, maybe rethink job descriptions, getting rid of those generic phrases like excellent English communication skills, unless, a specific level of English is truly objectively necessary for the job and they test for it.
Right, not just as a default requirement.
Exactly. It's about actively bringing biculturalism and multilingualism into the fabric of the institution right from the hiring process. New perspectives from day one.
Okay, so we've seen how museums are really working hard to become more linguistically welcoming. That's fantastic news for everyone.
Yeah.
But let's pivot specifically to you, the listener, the English language learner. How can you turn this evolution into a real advantage? How does a museum become your personal language lab?
Oh, absolutely. Museums are, I think, uniquely powerful for language learning, often in ways people don't realize. Think about it. Unlike a classroom, it's usually an informal setting.
Yeah.
Low pressure.
Right, no tests.
Exactly, no tests. You can explore at your own pace. It's spontaneous, often fun, and that relaxed atmosphere. It naturally lowers the anxiety that can sometimes come with learning or speaking a new language. You're less afraid of making mistakes.
That makes sense. More relaxed, more receptive.
Precisely. And museums help you develop all your skills. You're reading the labels and descriptions. You might be speaking to staff or a friend. You're listening to audio guides or maybe even other visitors. And you can be writing notes. It's holistic.
And the vocabulary. I imagine you pick up words you just wouldn't encounter in a textbook.
Oh, definitely. It's a gold mine for specialized vocabulary. Think about words like curator. You learn it doesn't just mean staff member, but someone deeply involved in interpretation, preservation. A guardian, really. Or artifact, exhibition, contemporary art, antiquity, restoration. These words aren't just vocabulary items. They connect you to the process, the ideas behind the objects. That's deeper learning.
Connecting language to meaning, to context.
Yes. And museums inherently teach culture. just by displaying and interpreting it. That gives you crucial context for language use. Plus, it encourages you to think critically about different viewpoints. And maybe the most encouraging part, studies show that practicing language outside the classroom, like in a museum, significantly boosts confidence, sometimes even more than test scores do.
Really? More than tests?
Yeah. There was a study with engineering students, for example. They visited a museum as part of a language task, and afterwards they reported feeling much more confident and actually enjoyed the process more, mainly because it was self-directed, low stakes.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical and exciting for our listeners. You can actually be strategic about this. A museum visit isn't just wandering around. It can be an intentional, powerful learning session.
It absolutely can. Let's break down some practical strategies. First, think about proactive preparation. Before you even go, do a little research online in English about the museum or the specific exhibits you want to see.
Get head start.
Exactly. Familiarize yourself with some key terms, the context. It primes your brain, makes the actual visit much richer than just walking in cold.
Okay, prepare beforehand. What about during the visit itself?
During the visit, focus on active engagement. Don't just glance at the labels, really read them. Notice the words, the adjectives, the verbs they use to describe things. Note down new vocabulary.
Keep a notebook handy.
Definitely. Bring a small notebook. Jot down new words, interesting phrases, maybe a quick sketch next to the word to help you remember. Use the audio guides in English. They're fantastic for listening practice, hearing pronunciation. Don't be shy about asking museum staff simple questions in English. Where is the, or could you tell me about? It's great low-pressure speaking practice.
Interact with the multimedia too, I suppose.
Oh yes, engage with interactive exhibits. Follow the text, listen carefully, and even simple things like ordering a coffee in the museum cafe or buying something in the gift shop. It's all real-world English practice.
So, soaking it all in actively, what about afterwards? How do you make sure it sticks?
Right. The learning shouldn't stop when you walk out the door. That's where strategic reinforcement comes in. After your visit, try writing a short review or maybe just a paragraph in English about your favorite piece or exhibit. Describe it, say why you liked it.
Using the new words you learned.
Exactly. It forces you to retrieve and use that vocabulary. You could also look for art classes or workshops nearby that are taught in English. Great way to learn specific art terms and practice speaking informally.
Good idea.
Or join an art appreciation group, maybe online or in person. Discussing art with others is fantastic practice. Use online resources too. Khan Academy, YouTube. They have tons of art history lectures in English. Listen to those.
Keep the immersion going.
Yes, and get creative. Try writing a short story from the perspective of a character in a painting. Or role play with a friend. One of you is the curator, the other is a visitor asking questions. It makes practice fun and boosts fluency. Keep an art journal maybe, combining sketches with written thoughts in English.
Those are really creative, practical tips. Now, beyond the direct language learning, museums are also places with their own social rules, right? Understanding museum etiquette is part of navigating the culture, and it uses English too.
That's absolutely right. Museum etiquette is a key part of cultural literacy. It's like understanding the unspoken rules of engagement in that specific environment. A good way to think about it is treat the museum like you're visiting someone's very quiet, art-filled home. Maybe your grandmother's house.
Chuckles. Okay, the grandmother's house rule. I like it. So what does that mean in practice?
Well, general things like no smoking or vaping, obviously. But specifically around the art, keep a respectful distance. You mentioned alarms earlier. Sometimes they go off if you get within, say, a foot or so.
Right, about a third of a meter.
Yeah, and it's not just about alarms. It's about protecting the art. Even leaning too close can be risky. Don't block other people's views for too long. Maybe limit texting or scrolling social media right in front of a popular piece.
Be present with the art and considerate of others. Makes sense.
What about bags?
Good point. Big bags, backpacks, they can be awkward in crowded galleries. Use the coat check if you can. If you had to keep a bag, maybe carry it in front of you, especially backpacks so you don't accidentally bump into something or someone. Okay. And food and drink.
Only in designated areas like cafes, never in the exhibit halls. A spilled drink could be disastrous for fragile artworks or documents.
Right. What if you're on a guided tour?
Stay with your group, keep questions relevant to the topic, and try not to monopolize the guide's time. Be respectful of everyone's chance to learn. Movement-wise, it often helps to move to the right when you enter a room that's often the intended flow, but follow signs if they exist. Just be aware of your surroundings.
Noise levels. phones.
Keep voices low, hushed tones are best, or better yet, save conversations for less crowded areas or the cafe. Definitely mute your phone, and if you take photos, no flash. The bright light can actually damage sensitive artworks over time, plus it disturbs others.
No flash. Got it. And the absolute #1 rule.
Do not touch the art.
Art. Couldn't be clearer.
Seriously though, it's the cardinal rule for a reason. Our hands have oils, dirt, germs. Even tiny amounts transferred over time can cause discoloration, wear, flaking paint. We need to preserve these things for everyone for the future, so hands off.
Preserve it for future generations. And just generally, move carefully.
Yes, tread lightly. No running, obviously. Watch your step. Comfortable, quiet shoes are also a good idea. It's all part of creating that respectful, contemplative atmosphere.
Okay, so with all these rules about being quiet and careful, it raises a question. If you're there specifically to practice English, how do you do that without being disruptive?
It actually works quite well together. Think about the learning strategies we discussed. Reading labels quietly, taking notes in your notebook, listening to an audio guide with headphones. These are all perfectly respectful activities.
True.
Even asking a staff member a quiet question or having a hushed conversation with a friend about a piece of art. It's all fine within the etiquette. It's about being an engaged learner, but also a respectful visitor. Paying attention to these social cues is actually part of the learning too.
That's a great way to put it. So if you are there with a friend or a study partner, what kind of conversations could you have? Something beyond just, wow, look at that.
You can definitely go deeper, even with simple English. You might start with, have you been to this museum before? Or what do you think of this exhibition? But then you could try something like, this painting makes me feel. Or, I wonder what technique the artist used here.
More specific observations.
Exactly. Or compare pieces. Which of these sculptures do you find more interesting and why? You could discuss the historical context you read on the label or ask about specific terms like contemporary versus modern art. Simple questions like, what kind of art do you usually enjoy? Or even, why do you think museums like this are important can lead to really good practical conversation practice.
So using the environment as a springboard for real discussion. That's fantastic. Okay, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to ponder. As museums become more culturally and linguistically welcoming, how might your next visit transform? Could it shift from just passive looking into an active, immersive learning adventure, not just for improving your English, but for truly understanding the human story from many different perspectives? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into English for Museum Tours. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure. It's a great topic.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Listen and speak. We'll see you next time.